Cooper is in Barcelona and won't be back for 3 weeks. Goodbye.
I know she's in Barcelona, but does she know that you're in her flat?
Go away, Cassidy.
Got to see you, Guy.
Sorry, I'm not in circulation.
I shall continue to press this buzzer at 10-minute intervals throughout the day until you let me in.
Cassidy, I loathe you. 5 minutes, that's all.
Did you nick the key from my handbag?
We live on different planes, you and I. She needed someone to water her plant, someone reliable.
Oh, yeah. And does it pay well?
You're so mercenary, Cassidy. I've gone into retreat. I was glad to help.
Yeah. Some bloody monastery.
Yes, well, look, if your curiosity is completely satisfied, I wonder, could I get back to my meditations?
Theme parks.
Not now, dear boy.
Sir Joshua Backhouse, elderly, rich and innocent, squire of Sissington Park in the county of Wiltshire and eager to convert the family estate into a mega money factory.
How ghastly.
The theme is the Arabian Nights. Camels, Bedouin tents and belly dancers. Something for everybody, including father.
I think I'm going to be sick.
Lashons of shish kebab and Rimsky-Korsakov.
All the bliss of paradise. 5 minutes from the M4. I need to go to bed.
Are you ill?
Spiritually indisposed.
You've got an intellectual block, haven't you? You're scamless.
And you're not helping.
Listen, his problem is the camels.
Oh, don't go on.
And the camel minders. I've convinced him he needs a dozen of each. 6 on duty and 6 off. That means they're going to need living quarters for camel minders and their families. Special food for them and the camels. Proper camel stables and at least 1 vet. Just think of the professional consultation fees alone.
Are you going to get involved in this tasteless farrago?
What? Guy, what are you saying? I am sitting on a proverbial gold mine. All I need is 5 grand to open the door to Aladdin's cave. There are going to be upfront concession fees, agency fees on both sides, sweeteners and percentages right down the line. And there won't even be a camel within 1,000,000 miles of the place. I'm seeing Sir Joshua on Thursday at my office.
It's your office?
That's why I'm here.
Oh, no. Mary lent this place to me personally, not to Bertram Mills Circus, sorry.
No, not here. There's the perfect setup off Gloucester Place. Main office, outer office, bathroom. Solid without being extravagant. Sir Joshua will love it.
Well, I'm very pleased for you both.
The landlord needs 5 grand on the nose, you know, minimum lease.
Sounds reasonable.
I haven't got 5 grand. I haven't even got 500.
Oh, that's a shame. I hope you came by public transport, because I haven't even got the price of taxi.
5 grand for a week at 10%. 15%.
Sorry, old boy. You're squeezing an empty goatskin. Luckily, I'm going through a period of self-denial. 2 packets of biscuits and a tin of sardines per day. Totally Boracic.
You can't be. What about the Ricky Dobbs money?
Well, you know what it's like in Cannes. And then I had to buy Jacko's wife a little something to pin on her dress.
You had £20,000. What the hell did you buy her?
Sapphires to go with her eyes.
You're lying. You're planning something.
Don't be ridiculous.
You didn't buy her sapphires. You're planning the big sting you're holding out at me, Buchanan.
Harry, one day, the dark angel of mental torture will settle on your shoulder too. And then you'll find you won't have a thought in your head. Not a spark of energy to get you moving. And you'll remember this moment, and you'll be ashamed. Yes, I am planning something. And it concerns this packet of biscuits. Am I going to have enough to get me through the day? Or am I going to have to go to Blackheath Village and buy another? Now close the door quietly. My nerves.
say I don't remember meeting you at the Frankfurt Book Fair, Mr. Cassidy. Were you buying or selling?
Just looking.
Well, I hope this is going to be good. I never see people without an appointment, unless they happen to have written last year's bestseller, and that's not you, is it?
I could be next year's.
I'm in a meeting in 6 minutes. That's how long you've got.
One of the most extraordinary people of our time is a man called Guy Buchanan. You'll have seen his name in the papers.
No, never.
He's a uniquely brilliant man. He gets invited everywhere. I don't mean showbiz parties. He turns those down anyhow. I mean the really big dues. Lady Di's wedding, he was there, right behind the heads of state. As a matter of fact, he's a personal friend to most of them.
Hang on, Mr. Cassidy. What's Mr. Buchanan brilliant at?
Oh, didn't I say? I am sorry. Guy Buchanan is the greatest con man of his generation.
Oh.
The Guy Buchanan story will be quite unlike anything ever published before. He's operated in so many different areas, you see. Government, big business, crime. He once re-exported Havana cigars from Moscow back to Cuba. It was a beautiful piece of work. He got a letter of congratulations from a colonel in the KGB. They love him.
And why hasn't this paragon burst into print before?
Bad for business.
But now he's changed his mind.
Yes, but for a very good reason. Oh, I am sorry. We seem to be running into your meeting.
What very special reason, Mr. Cassidy?
Buchanan is dying.
How old is he?
49. He's lived hard, never taken care of himself. Years of too much Riga vodka, too much vintage champagne, too much everything. In the end, something has to give. In this case, his liver. Pitiful. He hasn't left his room for a month. Oh, he's going. There's no doubt about it.
You've got Mr. Buchanan's permission for this book.
Oh, yes. Well, it's partly his idea. He wants to make a clean breast of it. Die happy. Clean.
And who would do the actual writing?
Well, I thought perhaps we could get a name. John Le Carre or Jack Higgins, somebody like that.
Well, there could be problems. Other people publish Mr. Le Carre and Mr. Higgins.
In that case, I'll do it.
You're a writer.
This one writes itself.
Nothing ever wrote itself. Even Bar Black Sheep had a finely honed literary brain behind it.
You know, I don't think we actually need a big name. I'm talking about a very modest advance. 10,000 should cover it easily. I'm sure I could find a writer to start work for 10,000.
I'm sure you could, Mr. Cassidy. I could too.
But in this case, speed is of the essence. I mean, Buchanan is a very sick man. If we could set something up now, perhaps half the advance as a down payment.
Mr. Cassidy, please. If we handed out advances of £10,000 to everyone who walked in here with a good idea, we'd go bust.
Buchanan at Stonehenge, 1982.
Who's the fuzz?
The police always go to Stonehenge at the midsummer solstice to retake their oath of allegiance. The Prince of Wales, fishing somewhere. Ian Botham having a good time. Elizabeth Taylor. Buchanan sitting in someone else's Porsche. Ronald Reagan, Mussolini, and Buchanan and myself at Bewley. Mussolini? What's he doing there?
Okay, I got the message. What's the job?
Collage. Creative readjustment. Snaps of my friend Buchanan fishing with the Prince of Wales, having dinner with Ian Botham. Get it?
Won't be easy.
If it was easy, I'd do it myself.
When for?
I'd like 2 for tomorrow morning, and they have to look old. They've been around for years.
Well, that's going to cost you.
Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow morning, 9 o'clock. Oh, and don't use Mussolini. They strung him up when Buchanan was 5.
Mary! Good heavens.
Did I wake you? Sorry.
Well, the place is an absolute tip, if only I'd known.
Oh, don't worry. I'm not staying for long. I'm off to Norway to interview a lady novelist who lives with 2 deep-sea fishermen in Narvik. That's for you, present from Spain.
Oh.
I think it's called a boater. Plane leaves at 6. I'm dashing off to Phyllis Hardstars for a bath and a bite. I hear you're writing a book.
With what?
Biop, full frontal.
Who on earth told you that?
Someone I met at a party last night.
Extraordinary people you must mix with. It's absolute crap. Not a word of truth in it. I mean, would I, in my profession? Anyway, I'm gracefully illiterate.
Well, that's never stopped anyone before. Pity. Would have been a fun read. Bye, darling. See you on Friday.
Oh, I've always wanted one of these.
But the fairy on the Christmas tree, old chap, is the pavilion of the slave girls. I've never actually met a slave girl.
Oh. Well, I could probably get my hands on a few slave girls, if you're short. All part of Cassidy Arabian Enterprises. English girls are all well and good, but they're highly unionized. I mean, let's face it, the last thing in the world you want is for the area shop steward to turn up during the Dance of the Seven Veils.
No, I suppose not. But we've got to get the camels sorted out first. I can't move until I get your estimates.
Next week, when I return from Abu Dhabi.
Jolly decent of you to come down here.
Yes, well, I think better on the move. Hate offices. I'm really only at home in the desert.
Buchanan. Haven't forgotten me, have you, Mr. Buchanan?
Henry Cockrell. Detective Inspector Henry Cockrell, the pride of Scotland Yard.
Ex-Detective Chief Superintendent Henry Cockrell.
Ex?
Yeah, I retired. After giving the best years of my life in the service of the community, I decided it was time to do myself some favours. Got my own security business. Pays the rent.
Honest Henry. Well, 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 well. Did you jump or were you pushed?
Oh, please. There were one or two malicious rumours. Very damaging. I never did find out who started them.
Well, it wasn't me. I wouldn't dream of revealing the name of an old friend.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Live and let live, eh? And then I saw this bit in yesterday's evening paper. It would appear that you and Mr. Cassidy are planning on writing a book. The great Buchanan tells all. Names, places, dates, the lot.
Well, it's a pack of lies.
Of course. Of course, only I'd rather not appear in the great work myself. I do not wish to be among the dramatis personae. Got my reputation to think of. That goes for one or two others. Now, what you and me and Mr. Cassidy did many years ago is strictly our business, wouldn't you say? If you were to see it like that, I and they would regard it as a favour. And one deserves another, doesn't it? This is the warm hand of friendship. Every sweet as it's sour, as the Chinese say. We don't want any nastiness, do we? Good seeing you again, Mr. Buchanan. My very best to Mr. Cassidy, of course.
Cassidy, are you listening to me? What the hell is going on?
Will you let me explain?
I intend letting you explain.
Although I say it myself, it was a mildly brilliant idea. I mean, where does one lay one's hands on £5,000 extremely quickly? You were my last chance.
Oh, well, I'm very sorry if I've inconvenienced you by spending my own money in my own way for my own private purposes.
And then I had the idea. A book about the greatest man in the business. Publishers will be falling over themselves to give me lots of money for the rights.
But they didn't.
Well, no, not yet. But I've got her dangling. She'll be opening the war chest any moment now.
Do I have any say in this? Do I perform any function?
Well, of course you do.
Oh, how nice.
We split the thing 50-50. I do all the work, you get half the money. Can't be bad.
But it's going to be my face that's grinning out of every bookshop window in the country. Had it crossed your mind that I might not care for that?
Of course it has. I've covered all that. Listen, this is a highly professional exercise.
Well, do tell me.
You're ill. You're not expected to live. In fact, you've just been shipped out to Africa to spend your last weeks in an amiable climate. And when you reappear 12 months later, people will think it's someone else.
Cassidy, you are the bloody end. I have no intention of dying just to increase the sales of your squalid book. You've murdered me, Cassidy, and I'm extremely miffed about it.
But you make a miraculous recovery. Buchanan comes back from the dead.
That's worse than dying. They'll be waiting for me.
Who will?
Bertie Lazar, the Beast Cockerel, Ricky Dobbs, Pride of the CBI, Lord Benedon. ex-government spokesman for agriculture and fisheries, Colonel Shishkov of the KGB. Each one of these gentlemen represents a triumph in my career. No autobiography would be complete without them. I mean, do you think that people like Lazar and Cockerell are going to sit back and see themselves held up to ridicule?
We could change their names.
Who'd be taken in by that? No, the whole thing is a non-starter. What sort of money are we talking about?
Thousands. Tens of thousands.
Who's this woman that you mentioned?
Anita Bidwell. She's one of the commissioning editors at Haddington's. Tough, but greedy. I think I'm winning there.
Yes, well, you'll just have to tell her that you changed your mind.
But come on, there must be
I don't want to hear any more about it. The subject is closed.
Guy, for God's sake!
Stick to camels, Harry. They're a good deal safer than people like Cockerell.
Mr. Illingworth isn't in tonight, is he?
You a friend of his?
If I was a friend of his, I'd know if he was in, wouldn't I?
What's your business then?
He was manager.
Listen, son. I don't have to enjoy your company if I don't choose to.
I got a job for him.
Doing what?
What do writers normally do? Writing.
For money?
Is there a Mr. Illingworth here?
Yes?
I telephoned the house. Your wife said you might be here. My name's Cassidy.
Oh, Geoffrey Illingworth.
You wrote that book about the crooked astrologer.
Well, some years ago, yes.
Fill him up! Could we talk somewhere private? You've kept the typewriter.
Oh, yes, yes. Well, it probably needs a new ribbon, you know. Why?
I need a book done. Quick.
How quick?
How quick can you do a book?
Well, I can do a short one quicker than a long one.
I need one that thick.
What's the subject?
That doesn't matter. Can you do it in a month?
No, but I mean, who's the... Who's the publisher? We're going to have to talk about it in advance, aren't we? You know, overseas rights and translation rights.
Advance, £200. You can have the overseas rights.
£200. It's not an awful lot, you know, when you think about it.
All right. For another £200, I purchased the right to put my name on the cover, not yours.
Well, I don't know what the Society of Authors would say about it.
This contains everything you need to know about a Mr. Guy Buchanan. You're writing his life story. I want it highly professional, properly written, neatly typed. No rubbings out. And I want the first chapter by Friday. And if it's good, especially good, there may be a little bonus in it for you. Ooh. So get cracking, Geoffrey. I'll be in touch.
Right.
I hope you'll excuse me, sir, but something's worrying me.
What?
As soon as I came in, I thought, I know that face. I've seen you before somewhere.
Me? No, I shouldn't think so.
Have I seen your face in the papers?
I've never had my picture in the papers.
You're not a journalist?
No. I write books.
I'll get you a drink.
Anyone at home?
Darling, I thought you were in Norway.
It was this morning.
Is it really that near? I detect a faint aroma of dried fish.
It's what turns them on inside the Arctic Circle.
Yes, attar of bristling.
How about you? Fixed up yet?
Oh, yes.
You mean you've got somewhere to go?
Oh, dozens of places. I'll be packed up and out of here in half an hour.
Well, if all your friends happen to be out of town, you can all sleep on the sofa for a couple of nights.
That's very generous of you. Do you happen to know a lady called Anita Bidwell?
Bidwell? At Haddington's?
Yes, I believe so. Nice lady, is she?
No, but interesting. Diamond hard, but quite capable of sparkling if she wants to. Highly intelligent. Can look $1 million.
Seem to know an awful lot about her.
We're at Arnfield together. She was a couple of years ahead of me.
Yes, of course she was.
I don't think she'll publish your book, Guy.
What book?
Good afternoon. I trust this is not an inconvenient time. Mrs. Illingworth.
Yes?
I met your husband last night, quite by chance, and I suddenly remembered there was something rather important I wanted to say to him, but you know how these things slip the mind.
What name did you say it was?
Cockerell. Henry Cockerell, my card.
Oh, well, you'd better come in.
Thank you.
It's for you.
I popped my head into the boozer, but you weren't there. And then I remembered you've got this big job on.
Global international security. I'm sorry, I don't...
Let me explain. You are ghosting this book for this fella Cassidy. Now, I know Cassidy and Buchanan. Known them for years. For your information, I was a member of Special Branch. See, the trouble is that Buchanan and Cassidy sometimes tend to go a bit too far. I'm talking about national security. Obviously, I can't say too much, Official Secrets Act and all that. Do you know what I mean?
No, I don't.
There's no cause for alarm, Mr. Illingworth. I can ensure that none of this rubs off on you, and that national security is not compromised. It is my job. All you have to do is provide me with a carbon copy of everything you write, vis-à-vis Buchanan and Cassidy.
Oh, well, I don't know whether Mr. Cassidy would...
And if I can see it before Mr. Cassidy does, then that would be doubly helpful.
Well, look, I
realise this will involve you in some slight expense. I think £200 should take care of it. Oh, one more thing, Mr. Illingworth. Not a word to Cassidy about this.
Oh, no.
My regards to your lovely wife.
Haven't you paid your rent again?
Listen, I can't talk. I've got to be in Wiltshire 10 minutes ago.
What's Backhouse done now?
He's thinking of changing it from the Arabian Nights to a Wild West hoedown.
There's no sex in the Wild West. Why'd he change his mind?
Somebody told him the Arabian Nights might be offensive to the Muslims.
But they wrote it.
There's months of work going down the drain. I have to talk him out of it.
Mary came back unexpectedly. Could I dust down here for a couple of days?
Here? What's wrong with your own place?
Decorators.
Decorators?
Well?
You better pay the electricity bill. They're cutting it off on Wednesday. And feed the parrots, will you?
The Buchanan file. Portrait of a master. by Harry Cassidy. Dear Mr. Cassidy, this is the first chapter. Regards, Geoffrey. By the way, do you know a man called Cockerell?
Sorry, Anita. But there's a man outside who says he knows you.
Of all the men who said they know me.
Buchanan? Sort of bogus, but fun.
Guy Buchanan?
Yes.
Did he just walk in? I mean, is he all right?
Well, he looks all right to me.
Perhaps I'd better have a look at him. Thank you, Tamara.
Would you like to come in, Mr. Buchanan?
How are you feeling, Mr. Buchanan?
Very fit, actually. How about you?
Do sit down.
Thank you. What a wonderful office.
Thank you. And how's Mr. Cassidy?
He's away.
For long?
Could be. That's why I'm here. I thought your readers might prefer to hear the story from the horse's mouth.
What do you think of Cassidy's idea?
Hazardous. I could emerge from the whole thing as public enemy number one.
That's what sells books.
I have a living to make, Miss Bidwell.
This book could go a long way towards that. Would you be prepared to sign a contract?
Tempt me.
If this book is as good as I think it could be, you'll earn well into 5 figures, perhaps more.
Yes, well, I shall need a suitable place to work and a secretary. I flunked secretarial college. Clifford's Hotel in Pimlico would be ideal, comfortable, quiet, very reasonable, and they know me.
Talking a lot of money.
Well, nothing compared to the 5 figures you just mentioned.
I can't authorize an arrangement like that.
I remember that one.
Cervantes wrote Don Quixote in a garret next door to a brothel.
But he was so talented.
I'm still deeply committed to the Arabian Nights, but there are problems. Sex, for instance. I don't want decent folk getting the idea we're running some sort of porn park.
Ah, well, the quality of the enterprise will be your safeguard, Sir Joshua. Take, for example, the music.
Damned expensive music, all those chaps fiddling away, and quite unnecessary. One chap with a pipe. That's all you need.
Well, I couldn't agree more. I know 1 or 2 pipers.
Ah, no call for the London Symphony Orchestra. Silent films never had orchestras. They did opera without orchestras. They did Shakespeare without words. Words and music are all extra, Mr. Cassidy. People upping the ante the whole time. The advantage of the Wild West is that people expect it to be rough and ready. And that comes cheap.
Yes, but Sir Joshua, don't you think the Wild West is a bit... well, it's a bit thin? I mean, after you've done the shootout at the OK Corral, what then? I mean, will it pack them in?
You could be right. The Deer Park would make a marvellous golf course.
Come in. Nellie. Down. They said I couldn't have you. They said you weren't qualified. You.
What's it all about, Mr. Buchanan?
Come and have a drink.
What do I have to do?
Well, I've got a typescript which I'd like you to copy after I've made a few alterations. It's only a few pages. Won't take you very long. And then we can sit and drink a little and chat.
Is that what they're paying you for?
Darling, they're paying you, via me, to type. And after a reasonable period of time, I shall let them have a few pages typed by you. In the meantime, I shall have spread the word about my forthcoming book. The whole of London is going to be buzzing with anticipation. All sorts of people are going to be wondering whether they appear in the great piece, and if so, how.
Is that a good idea, Mr. Buchanan? I mean, they might not want to be in the book.
That's the whole point, Nellie. I can think of at least a dozen people who'll pay good money not to be in the book.
That's blackmail.
Yes, maybe, but I'm not going to lose any sleep about it. Now, I think it might be a good idea if you set up your equipment on that table, just in case we have visitors.
No, I didn't care for it, Mr. Illingworth. I found the style melodramatic and the plot rather hard to follow. But the characters were very convincing.
Oh, thank you. It is only a draft, you know.
Oh, that's the bit I didn't care for. The characters.
Yes. Well, I'm working to Mr. Cassidy's research papers.
Well, don't get me wrong, Raymond.
Geoffrey.
Nobody's blaming you. It's just that we're going to have to make some changes.
Look, why don't you just speak directly to Mr. Cassidy? I mean, he tells me one thing and you tell me another.
Visitors?
Oh, no, it's just one of my wife's friends. She'll answer it.
Perhaps if I could see Cassidy's papers, it would save a bit of time.
Well, there's not much to go on, actually.
Oh dear, oh dear. Mr. Cassidy does take chances. Some of this will have to go.
What has got to go, Cockrell? Guy Buchanan. Oh, I got your address from the manuscript you sent to my friend Cassidy. Sorry, I interrupted you.
I thought we discussed this.
No, you gave me some money in a brown paper envelope. We didn't discuss anything, did we?
We most certainly did.
Oh, by the way, I liked that first chapter. It was a bit flattering, perhaps.
Flattering to you, but not to me. Now you listen, Buchanan. I'm not going to be made a fool of, and there's plenty others going to think the same way. I've paid you once. If that book ever comes out, there'll be nowhere for you to hide. You might never get to spend the money, son.
Now that, Mr. Illingworth, was a frightened man. Dangerous if handled incorrectly. But then, on the other hand...
Miss Cooper, is it?
What?
Is Guy at home? Guy Buchanan?
How should I know? This is my flat, not his.
You wouldn't happen to have his new address, would you?
No, I wouldn't.
But your paths might cross, by chance, over the next day or two.
It might.
Well, could you give Mr. Buchanan a message for me? Could you tell him that a Mr. Bertie Lazar would like to see him? It's very urgent. It's a matter of life and death.
Does Mr. Buchanan know where to find this Mr. Lazar?
Oh, yes. Oh, and could you also tell Mr. Buchanan that it was me who came looking for him? My name's Phipps. Boneyard Phipps. You've been a great help, darling. Thanks.
This man really has style.
Who has?
Neville Lytton. Listen to this. Not only shall we be introduced into some of the more fascinating techniques of the international conman, we shall do so in the company of a gentleman who is able to be entertaining without being trivial and serious without being gloomy. Personally, I can't wait to read Guy Buchanan's autobiography. You see, there's no substitute for quality.
How do they know about the book? It's not even written yet.
Because that's his job.
But somebody must have told this Neville Whatsits. Oh.
Of course somebody told him. I told him. Buchanan? Oh, hello, Anita. Did you see that piece in the Chronicle this morning?
Yes. He's a nauseating little creep, isn't he? Never mind.
Oh, I thought it was rather good.
I've had a message from a mutual friend, Mary Cooper. She was waylaid by an undesirable who had a message for you. Bertie Lazar wants a meeting.
Bertie Lazar? Who was this undesirable character?
Boneyard Phipps.
Morning, Mr. Buchanan.
Hello, Boneyard.
Mr. Lazard would like you to join him. He's in the car. He's got a proposition to put to you.
I take it you're working under instructions. You wouldn't dare go in for kidnapping on your own account.
I warned you, Buchanan. I spelled it out for you. But you still wouldn't listen, would you? You're still writing that book.
Ah.
I even bunged you $1,000 to take the pain away, but you're still going ahead with it.
Well, it was a very brief conversation, Henry. And since then I've been offered 10 grand just for the first draft. I mean, 1 grand against 10. Mind you, I appreciate your problem. I am prepared to negotiate.
No, you don't, son. No, the time for talking is over. Now we've got to try something different. When Boneyard's finished with you, then you'll get the message. First the carrot. If that doesn't do the business, then the boot.
Jeff Reelingworth.
Harry Cassidy, how's it going, Jeff?
Oh, well, I've had a few visitors, Mr. Cassidy.
Visitors?
Yes. That chap Cockrell told me it was a policeman.
Used to be. He's retired. He can't hurt you.
And Mr. Buchanan called round.
I do not believe this. It has nothing to do with Buchanan. Look, who found you? Who pulled you out of the gutter?
You, Mr. Cassidy.
Exactly.
Oh, look, this is all getting very complicated.
There's nothing complicated about it. Just do what the money says. And I'm the money, okay? Bloody amateurs.
Sorry, Anita.
They're after me. And I haven't been feeling at all well recently.
Who's after you?
Cockrell and Phipps. They're violent men, absolute villains. If I hadn't been extremely quick on my feet. You don't seem to appreciate the danger I'm in.
Sounds terribly exciting.
I could have been severely injured. I could finish up dead.
Must go into the book. Are you keeping notes?
Notes?
Helps to keep the writing fresh and real.
I'm more interested in keeping myself fresh and real. You've got to take care of me, Anita.
Me?
Look, if you want this book, you've got to protect me. I'm a wanted man.
Yes, well, I can arrange that.
And money. I can't live on fresh air. I've tried it.
We might manage a small advance.
And if the cheque could be made out of cash, it would be greatly appreciated.
Yes, I'm sure.
And the larger the cheque, the greater the number of words. I mean, one does rather depend on the other.
I'll see what I can do. Meanwhile, we'd better get you and your secretary out of sight. Shall we go?
Cassidy, we know you're there. where the hell are they? Perhaps they've gone down the takeaway. Might as well just hang on for them. Oh, well. This is more Cassidy's style. Sissington Park, Wiltshire. That's worth a go. Come on, lad.
Where have you been, Cassidy? We've got a lot to discuss.
I've just had a fax from Khartoum. I have to get back to London immediately.
You've got a fax machine in your car?
Well, haven't you?
I don't want to talk about gadgets. I left my decisions and I need one from you. Now, are you on the team or not? Look, I'm sitting in the middle of 1,200 acres. I can't watch the grass grow. I've got to exploit it.
Maybe you were right. It would make a sensational golf course.
Knickerbockers and silly shoes. No, I've gone off that idea. We had it all in the Arabian Nights. The pavilion of the slave girl.
Good morning, Sir Joshua. Sorry to crash in uninvited, but I have to see Mr. Cassidy here on a rather important matter.
Ah, my chief financial advisor, Henry Cockerell, and his, associate, Sir Joshua Backhouse.
Oh, how do you know?
Do you mind if we have a word in private?
No, go ahead. Thank you. Did you say Buchanan was a friend of yours?
Buchanan? Yes.
Even after he tried to drop you in it right up to the armpits. I'm referring to that wicked book he's talked you into writing.
The book has nothing to do with Buchanan. It was my idea. As a matter of fact, he tried to talk me out of it.
So what's he in and out of Haddington's for? I know he's writing that book. Even after I paid him all that money not to.
What money?
£1,000.
You paid Buchanan £1,000 not to write my book that I'm paying Illingworth to write anyway.
You don't mean he's kept it all for himself?
Dirty, double-crossing, cheating...
Well, now you know what sort of a man Buchanan is. But I've got good news for you. Buchanan's going to disappear. So, not only will there be no Buchanan book, there'll also be no Buchanan. For a little while, anyway. Everybody associated with that horrible book is going on a little holiday. Do you understand me, don't you, son? Everybody. See you, Harry.
I can't see the fax machine.
No, it's in the other car. There's been a riot in Khartoum. I have to get back at once. I'll phone you tomorrow, Sir Joshua. Whatever you do, don't give up hope. I say, Cassidy! Guy.
I realize it has taken you more than 6 years to write this novel.
Where's Buchanan?
Dare you? Mr. Cassidy, kindly remove yourself immediately.
They're after him. Cockerell and his gorilla boneyard.
Out.
They might actually kill him. If they do and you didn't tell me where he was, you would be responsible. Where have you hidden him?
Nothing. Neither pain nor pleasure could persuade me to reveal Mr. Buchanan's whereabouts. Nothing. Now kindly leave before I call the police.
His blood will be on your head. You've met Boneyard Phipps. You know what sort of an animal he is.
Well, I only met him for about a minute, that's all, but, I know what you mean.
Listen, we have got to get to Buchanan before Cockerell and Phipps do. So where has she put him?
Well, it could be anywhere. Anita did have a little place in the north of Scotland. They might be there.
No, not Scotland. She'd need to keep her eye on him.
There's also a place in Holland Park. No. No, she'd never allow anyone over that threshold. Or there's... Oh, no.
What?
Oh, just a silly idea. She used to have this boat on the River Medway. She used to call it the Black Widow. Very appropriate.
Where did she keep it?
On the Medway.
Do you think maybe you could be a little bit more specific? I mean, it's a very long river.
Sorry, no. I mean, she might even have sold it by now. I mean, it is an awfully long shot.
To find.
Well, who told you where I was? Anita promised.
Come on, stop complaining. Tie me up. That's it. Oh my God! Cast off, quickly! It's Hopper and Phipps.
I'll tell you, untie that rope.
Give you a hand.
Just a minute.
What are you doing?
You'll see. Let's go! Come on.
Throw now into the boat.
Hey, I'm not good in boats.
Don't argue, you're going to be good in boats starting now. Get it.
Buchanan's getting away! Put your foot down! Turn the bloody wheel, you idiot! Oh, turn the bloody wheel! Turn it the other way! Well, turn it the other way!
Books are no good. I'm beginning to regret coming up with the idea in the first place.
You regret what?
Well, put it another way. I'm beginning to regret giving you the idea.
It was entirely, wholly, and utterly my idea.
No, it was my idea. The idea was me. Without me, there'd be no idea.
Without you, it probably would have worked. It was when you started interfering that it all went wrong.
Do you know what I think? That's what I think.
Nellie!
Where did you get that?
Nellie, stop!
What are you doing?
My book. My life. Oh, Nellie, how could you?
It wouldn't have sold anyway.
She's got a bloody cheek.
I don't know what you're complaining about. You didn't write a word of it. It was entirely my work.
It's stolen from Illingworth, who was informed by me.
Misinformed by you.
You're only after Cochrane made him change it.
Yes, well, the next time you write a book about my life, I'll do the research. No, I'll get started.
What do you mean? Not the next time. This was...
Find out what the dubious duo are planning next week at the same time. After the break, Dr. Michael Terry keeping troubled teens on the straight and narrow in Neon Rider.
Right.